Hello again. It is Partyfoot loading into another replay of Mechabellum. So this is a game I just recently played. I was having a few troubles with resolution and such, but hopefully this time it's going to turn out better, and we're going to play Sledgehammers this morning. Our opponent is going for a Stormcaller Hound opener, but we have cost control, so we're doing the dirtiest possible tactic, and that is 2 additional packs of Sledgehammers on round 1. I've had this done to me, but I haven't done this myself, and so it was time to try it out. Noticing that he does have some Stormcallers, I put one of my crawler packs a bit forward in order to try and draw all that fire, and then a few later packs in order to tank up anything as the Sledgehammers get their work done. So, honestly, pretty good start. Let's see how it goes. Our opponent actually gets more hounds on the far side, which is unfortunate for him, probably. This completely overwhelming force over here. Perhaps some of them being vertical might have been an okay idea. I think quite a lot of them are overkilling. Like, for example, this is probably the exception now that they're running into our lines along the length of the line, which maybe is a bit better for us. Crawlers getting onto the Stormcallers, that's never a good sign for our opponent. And we take the tower, so that's going to be an easy win. Usually, cost control specialist is... sorry, we're not cost control specialists, we're a quick supply specialist. Is going to win the early rounds, you know, obviously, because they start with way more money. But this is, you know, let's see if our opponent can deal with this. Historically, when I've faced a strategy like this, I found it pretty hard to deal with. So let's see what they choose to do. And out of round 1, we've basically equalized the life totals. Okay, so round 2, I'm going to pick up some marksmen. Just looking to get a little bit of anti-air involved with the situation for free, which is quite nice. A couple of deployments as well, and we pop those behind our main lines. And then we go, so devious for 2 additional packs of Sledgehammer. This is the kind of behavior that is outlawed in many countries. But here we can get away with it because there are no Mechabellum police. Our opponent has gone, let's see, for the marksman as well. He's got his level 3 marksman from his specialist. And let's see what else they choose to get alongside this for their turn. Yeah, this many sledges is a lot. It's hard to deal with. As long as we have chaff, even if he goes for something that's quite good to counter it, the DPS actually starts getting crazy really easily on these guys once they start picking up some levels. So everyone's kind of, well, these two are new, but these guys are kind of halfway to their first levels. Maybe a bit less. More hounds. So I'm not quite sure why he wants more hounds. Maybe he's confident in the marksman to take down Sledgehammers. I don't actually think marksmen are that good against Sledgehammers. Like, it takes 2 shots for a marksman to kill 1 Sledgehammer, so 10 to kill the whole pack. That's if they lock on and they're not hitting chaff. I mean, yeah. Sure, this high-level one's going to be pretty efficient at taking them down, I think. So, you know, maybe he's counting on them leveling up. He drops a missile as well, and that does actually clear out some of our level 1 Sledgehammer, so that's putting the odds in his favor a little bit. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, vertical selection on some of these might have been good. They're definitely overkilling these crawlers pretty well. This time, this flank has a lot of energy still in it, though. And it looks like although we're kind of coming out even, or maybe even slightly behind on this side, we are actually pushing through on the right-hand side. So always good to diversify your options, keep the pressure up on all fronts, and actually it turns out maybe we're going to win here anyway by not as much of a margin as we had the first time. And to be fair, maybe we aren't going to win by that much of a margin on this side, but regardless, round 2 goes in our favor as well. Yeah, so I mean, I hope so. We're doing kind of, you know, upfront tempo kind of style here, going for the Wasp Swarm as well. Getting range on the Sledgehammers. Now we're really starting to get into a worrying situation for him. I think it's still taking 2 shots for our 900 HP. 2 shots for our Sledgehammers to beat these hounds, which is nice for him, but as soon as they start leveling, that's going to change. And I think that there's going to be a shocking turn in how fast we clear his board. with all the hounds that he has once we start hitting level 2. He does go for the Scorpion, so the Scorpion is obviously one of the best counters to Sledgehammer. Just one Scorpion for now. He's also grabbing that Wasp deployment in the back, and I placed mine defensively as well. If I had gone over here, of course, he wouldn't have had nothing to deal with it. Maybe he decided that this was a bit of a more conservative spot. We were both thinking defensively, I guess. Either way, we do have a couple snipers, and he also has some snipers, so it's not completely going to be a one-sided situation should those Wasps have free reign. Well, so to speak, they don't have free reign. He drops a missile as well. He's spending a little bit on missiles, which definitely is probably putting him behind as well in this situation where he already started at a value deficit. These hounds coming in first, unfortunately taking a lot of the Sledgehammer fire. Then actually, well, that has allowed the crawlers to get directly onto the sledges, but the sledges just don't go down very quickly. And they do have AoE, so a couple of defensive packs of fangs that we placed in the flanks just in case our opponent was to put those wasps on the sides, coming through towards the end of the round. We do lose out on this side, in probably no small part thanks to this Scorpion, who has done a lot of damage and killed 34 units, which is, probably a lot of those were not just chaffs. Probably a decent number of those were actual sledgehammers. So it looks like we're actually going to lose round 3, thanks to our opponent picking up a decent counter to our mass sledge strategy. I mean, in the past, I've thought to myself, now I've got the sledges countered, right? And somehow they still end up winning. And I think that might be due to the leveling breakpoints. So now that a bunch of our sledge packs have leveled, I think we're going to pick up tank production because it just felt on theme. That's not a good reason to pick it up. Nano repair kit's also a good option to consider. But we level all these sledgehammers. And now we can see 1200 damage. They're going to be one-shotting these hounds. And these stormcallers. So huge increase in the efficiency of our front line. Also going to grab more chaff, I think. Just thinking, basically, there's not too much we can do about a Scorpion other than just overwhelm it with stuff that isn't very efficient for it to shoot at. So more chaff. It's going to tank all its shots. He puts the nano repair on this Scorpion. Scorpions are pretty tanky, so could be scary. I think with this number of sledgehammers, we're going to have no trouble dealing with them DPS-wise, as I lose control of my mouse DPI setting. Alright, that's better. More missiles. So he probably has spent maybe an unhealthy amount of money on missiles, but now we're seeing just ripping through the hounds immediately. Still a bit of overkill happening, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, maybe a vertical positioning could be helpful in this case. Let's see how we do versus these. So far they haven't hit anything other than chaff, but here's the money shot, getting a bunch of our sledgehammers. Fangs coming through to save the day and take a little bit of the heat. We take the tower on the right hand side. That's really good. These packs of sledgehammers just chewing through all those hounds. He loses his Scorpions. And all this money he's spending on consumables is probably what actually is going to take him down in the end, because I think that he is going for a good strategy to counter me, but he is spending a lot on tempo and still losing, which is really unfortunate. Especially because I don't have any spells to actually drop on him there, so the shield, I'm not so sure about it. I don't know, maybe someone in the comments disagrees. Couple Farseers, always a good choice. More anti-air in case something happens. We're going to put those on the flanks, I believe. Farseers did get a nerf recently, I think, but they still do kind of AoE DPS, which is just, it's just generally good. It's just not bad to have. They're not going to really take down a Scorpion, but they can clear out a bit of chaff here and there. They can clear out some wasps here and there. They can clear out some flyers here and there. So our opponent goes for the Wraith, and between the Marksman, level 2, and the Farseers, hopefully we will be able to still deal with that. We also get Mech Rage on the Sledgehammer. So now the Sledgehammers have really, awakened, so to speak. More chaff in order to keep these Scorpions busy, while our awakened Sledgehammers get the job done. At least that's the plan. Lots and lots of chaff. We actually have a pretty simple comp here. Not a lot of DPS in the form of just these snipers, really. But Sledgehammers just deal so much damage when they're fully upgraded, or, you know, partially upgraded at least. I'm not sure about armor piercing being the best option, but, you know, it was all in the idea of min-maxing these guys. So, Scorpion's still getting distracted quite well by chaff. Oh, that was a single crawler tanking this level 2 Scorpion shots, although he does get a bit of value there in the end anyway. We take down the tower. The Wraith doesn't prove to be a problem for our Farseer, and we push through to finish. Yeah, so these Sledgehammers are just really troublesome to deal with. They just really don't have good counters. The Scorpions are decent, but they get distracted too easily. Okay, and now we go for efficient light manufacturing. Pretty questionable if we're trying to win in the next couple rounds, actually, if I'm being retrospective about it. But we do grab a couple of levels, and we noticed that last round he went for the Hound Fire, so we are getting anti-missile Mustangs to try and shoot down some of those fire missiles and keep our chaff alive, because I think it's what our chaff is what is allowing our Sledgehammers time to do the damage they need to do. Other than that, I think, you know, if we keep that situation the way it is, we're going to win. At least that's the theory. Our opponent goes for a bit more chaff of his own, which makes sense. I don't think these hounds are doing a great job of chaff of being chaff against our Sledgehammers that are one-shotting them. So potentially some conventional chaff is going to be quite good for him. Our flanks are reasonably secure. At least it's going to take a while to drill through them. So he's just going for the straightforward approach. We shoot down that missile. More value for us. And let's see how it goes. Mustangs shooting down missiles reasonably well. Actually acting as chaff quite well as well, because we don't really care about them. Once they shoot down a few of these fire missiles, I don't need Mustangs to deal with this stuff. So actually having them in the front to tank Scorpion shots is also really nice. So I'm quite liking that pickup. Although it looks like in this case he's bought enough Scorpions that maybe this time the tides will turn. It's just enough chaff is being taken down. Just enough of our, you know, these missiles are connecting with our marksmen, and we actually are going to lose round 6. I was kind of thinking, oh, okay, have I overdone it here with the Sledgehammers? You know, he's invested enough into Scorpions that it's actually just pushing me back. Scorpions with range, pretty good against Sledgehammers. You can see they're getting a pretty good amount of value. So what do we do this round to balance it out? I think, do I skip? I think I skipped. Yep, we skip. He levels his Scorpions. And I think what I was thinking is I want to make use of this tank production line. So I'm going to go for a Giant. I pop down the Wasps in his corner because he doesn't have too much anti-air over here, so we might be able to threaten the tower. Maybe a little bit reckless because he possibly could have done the same back to us in return. I'm not sure where he chooses to put his down. But and he goes for Vulcans to try and help the chaff clearing situation. But I think what we end up deciding to do, if it is indeed the correct round, is yes, pick up these Overlords. What do Scorpions not do? They do not shoot into the sky. So he has very little anti-air, just these couple of snipers. A big transition. He's on the back foot. He's trying to deal with this massive amount of Sledgehammer. He's on the back foot, so we drop 2 Overlords, put the tank production on there as well, which is nice because we have upgrades on those tanks that come out. They're great chaff units to absorb Scorpion hits. If there's only 1 Sledgehammer or 2 coming out of a Giant unit and they get hit by a Scorpion, it's actually not too bad, I think. Better than our high levels Sledgehammers getting hit. And I think this is going to be a pretty good move. We also drop a missile in the back. I was slightly worried that he would put the swarm back here, but he puts it over here to try and defend against our swarm. But I was worried about these Wraiths intercepting that, so we went for one of the flanks instead. And this is going to be a lot more successful. Some of those missiles are making it through, not getting intercepted by... We only had a small investment into Mustang anti... Yeah, oh, they're doing great though. Look at that. Even dealing with these wasps. Mustangs are such a versatile unit. And this time, overwhelming victory. So interesting that last round was strongly in their favor, and this round was strongly in our favor. I feel like I can't quite pin down what the difference was, to be honest. I guess those interceptors doing good work, and the overlords taking care of some key tanky targets. So that was another game of Mechabellum. Thank you for watching. If you watched my previous video, thank you very much. Couple extra views coming out on that one. Always feels good on the first video of a YouTube channel, so to speak. Just doing this for fun. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment or like the video. You could give me my first ever like. And yeah, that's all for now. Partyfoot signing out.